and welcome to Chocolate and Cheese. My name is Dom and this is Special Asian Carter. That's right. It is 27th of February. No, it is the 27th of February 2015, and that can only mean one thing. TGI Friday. Yes, you've almost made it. The weekend is nigh. The weekend is here. Do we have a special treat for you? Today is crime time.
Yeah.
Normally we would have a really special sound effect, but we don't have that. Lulu, you just want to make a special sound effect for crime time? Do a special sound effect for crime time. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Right, okay. Now, we have a very interesting crime story for you. Lou, you actually told me about this. You heard about this a couple of days ago. It's a story that dates back to the early 80s. And it is probably the weirdest crime story that I have ever heard. I really have to say. It's just unbelievable. Shall we just start straight away?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the story. It happened in 1983 in Pennsylvania.
In America.
That's right, yeah, for people who don't know that, and that Pennsylvania is in America. There was a guy called, well, actually he's still alive, so there's a guy called Tony Toto. And he had a pizza place somewhere in a sleepy town in Pennsylvania with his wife. Now, Tony was a bit of a ladies' man, you know. I mean, although he was married for a couple of years, but he was a bit of a ladies' man, you know. So he used to have his saucy affairs, and his wife actually knew about this. But over the years, she became more and more disgruntled. She was very upset about that. So that ultimately, she decided that's it. Well, she could have actually just said, you know what, I'm going to get a divorce and go away. But she said, no, I'm going to kill you. Yeah, that's much better than getting a divorce, exactly. So, our little wifey wants him whacked. And, well, the whole story really is about that she is basically, she tried to do this not once, not twice, not 3 times. She tried it 7 times in a row. Okay, right. Lou, do you want to tell us the first attempt of the first attempt that she tried to whack him? What did she do?
Yeah, the first attempt was the working colleagues.
Yeah.
One of the pizza shop staff was waiting with golf club behind the hedge.
Yeah.
Tried to whack him.
That's right, yeah. So this is basically about a colleague, who was working in the same place. And I think his motivation, I mean, this guy was a kind of like, he was trying to really take over that pizza shop. That's really what he was interested in. So his the wife took him aside saying, you know what, I really, if you want Tony's position, I have this really fantastic plan. Why didn't you just whack him over the head with a golf club? Love it, okay? So the idea is they went to the place. He was just waiting there in the bush, trying for Tony to come back in his car. And I think the problem actually there, the car broke down, and then he came back to the house in a different way, and he actually surprised the colleague from behind. Okay, so he said, "Oh my God!" He thought that he would come the other way. And he was just asking, so what are you doing there? And I'm not quite sure what did he say?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. So I think it basically said, oh yeah, I'm not quite sure what he actually did say, but it basically failed. The whole attempt failed. I think the colleague probably just, made his excuses of why he was sitting there with a golf club. He might have said, yeah, I'm just playing golf in your backyard. I don't know. I mean, something like that. But this was basically the first attempt. So the wife basically already asked somebody, to help her getting rid of her husband. So that was the first failed attempt. What's the second? What did she try next then?
The second one, they use a wire. Set the wire to where?
Yeah,
That was a staircase?
yeah, they used a tripwire basically, and I mean the story is I mean there are different kinds of the stories, but I think the most the believable one is that they were putting a tripwire just outside the porch, meaning that if Tony was getting out in the morning to get to his pizza place. Because it still was quite dark, he would trip over, fall down the staircase, and maybe just injure himself very badly and maybe hopefully die. I mean, that's I suppose it was quite steep, and there were many steps actually involved here. So this was the second attempt, and this again was.
He actually found out.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Exactly, that's the next thing. So they were the wife and this colleague. Shall we just give him a name? Let's give him a name.
Bruno.
Bruno, exactly. Let's call him Bruno. So
he is Bruno.
He was actually Bruno.
I think so.
Fantastic. So they installed this tripwire. But Tony actually saw it in the morning. There was a little bit of light, and he said, "What the hell is that?" How did they explain that away? How did his wife explain?
Also, I have no idea.
Okay, so that's unknown. But he basically saw the tripwire. So the thing is, what I found funny. I mean, this would make me start to feel a little bit paranoid. You know, like I have a colleague sitting in my backyard with a golf club. Then there's a tripwire. I think I would start to have my first suspicions, possibly. Anyway, so Bruno and Tony's wife still unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Second attempt. What happened next? Number 3.
Number 3, and then they set a bomb
Brilliant. Love it.
to the Tony's car.
Absolutely.
So once he starts his engine,
Yeah.
that the bomb will work.
Absolutely, it's brilliant. So they basically used a car bomb. You can see that they're getting more and more severe now. Actually, they started, kind of low key, but now they have reached the level of car bombing. So they put this in Tony's car. I'm not quite sure how. I mean, where do you get a car bomb? Do you make this yourself? I mean, it's just such a weird story. It's just so crazy. But apparently, this is all real. It was all confirmed by the police.
Yeah.
So if you check this on Google, 1983, Tony Toto attempted murder, you will find that story. So they were trying to use a car bomb, but it didn't actually work. So that, you see, that doesn't actually surprise me that much. If the tripwire didn't work, I mean, that's kind of like an easy thing to do, even with a golf club. It's quite sophisticated now to actually install a car bomb that would actually go off once you turn the ignition key. So that also failed. So this is attempt 3. They didn't have enough. They said, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe they should have felt, maybe this is a sign. Maybe this is an omen. Maybe we shouldn't continue. Something tells us that Tony doesn't just have one guardian angel. He has an army of guardian angels. I mean, I would start thinking, gee, you cannot kill this guy. Okay, this is not going to work. But they were undeterred. Number 4.
No, number 5, isn't it?
No, it's number 4, isn't it?
Number 4, yeah. Number 4, they basically go back to basic way. They use sleeping pills.
Love it. How do they do that?
The ridiculous amount of sleeping pills into the tomato sauce. Spaghetti.
I love this, Lou. I love this, and it's really funny actually. So they before they were getting a bit more severe, more sophisticated, and now they go back to basics. Yeah. You're absolutely right, and it's kind of like an Italian thing. You know what? Let's try to poison that guy with his favorite food. Yeah, let's put sleeping pills, not in a drink or anything. Let's put it in. Was it Napoli sauce? Yeah.
Yeah,
tomato.
I think so.
Yeah, Napoli sauce. I mean it's just this made me laugh so much before. It's just so funny to put this in Napoli sauce. I was wondering why not just put it in the drink? But I suppose why do you think it's not just a drink? But
because the color it's so red, and also the taste is so strong.
That's true. Yeah, I guess so. So you would have to put it into something that naturally already has quite a strong taste, so that you wouldn't detect it. I think that's the really important thing here. So basically, his wife spiked his food with, I don't even know how many tablets were in there, but I mean a lot. Okay, so she ground it all up in powder form, put it into the sauce, and then Tony went for it. And I would have expected, oh my God, maybe he's going to detect it, but it was completely different. What actually happened next?
he really liked it.
I love it. Yeah, he wanted to have more, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, give me another portion. Give me another portion of that wonderful sleeping pill carbonara or whatever it is." Love it.
Yeah.
So he wanted to have more. She gave him more. And so what happened then? So he had loads of this stuff inside him.
And he just felt like a little bit, maybe he had flu.
Okay.
Or a little bit dizzy, so he thought he has got a bad cold.
Okay, yeah. So it made him feel a little bit unwell, and then he decided he better turn in for the day, that he had to go home and was it actually at home or in the restaurant, this one?
Restaurant.
This was actually in the restaurant, okay. So she probably took him home and then he went to bed, and I suppose she might have thought...
hoped
Yeah.
he will die next day.
Okay, so she was thinking that he would basically die of an overdose of sleeping pills.
Yeah, that's
okay.
the plan,
So this is what
I think.
happened. Okay, so this was the attempt 4 exactly.
Oh my
Now
God.
the next morning, was he dead?
No,
Oh my God!
he was still.
So this guy is still alive. Brilliant. Okay.
And then
Yeah.
she gave a gun
Okay.
to Bruno.
Okay. So this guy is still involved. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
still involved.
He still wants to have
Because
Tony's job.
He found him still alive.
Oh, he found it. He was also in the house.
Because
Interesting.
wife was so scared to check up.
That's right.
upstairs.
That's right. Okay. So this is what happened. So the next day he actually woke up again, but it was Bruno who was checking on him because his wife was kind of, I suppose, you know, she
Uncomfortable.
felt a little bit uncomfortable. Oh my God, is he going to be really dead now? So Bruno went up, checked him, and this guy was still alive. Okay. And then his wife immediately had this brilliant idea. Do you know, I have a gun in my house. Bruno,
Yeah, just quickly.
do it there and now, but he's still a little bit woozy, you know, he's a little bit, you know, super sleepy, and just finish him off really with that gun. So he went upstairs and he shot him, and what happened? He shot him where?
He shot his head.
He shot him in the head.
In the head.
You would now assume he is completely drugged up, he gets shot in the head. This would probably kill virtually everybody. Okay, we have reached number 5, by the way. Yeah, so this is attempt number 5. Shoots him in the head, and what happens?
He woke up.
Okay, after a couple of hours, this guy is still alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Now-
then he said he has a terrible headache.
He has a terrible headache. You see, this is again, I have to say, this sounds so unbelievable, but please do check it on Google. Tony Toto, Pennsylvania, 1983. You will find it. It has been confirmed by police reports. So this guy wakes up. I think there was a little bit of blood on the pillow.
I think
Now,
so.
now, I'm not a medical examiner. I don't have medical training, but I suppose, and I think that's what the police were saying, that the sleeping pills had actually saved his life.
Yeah.
Because if you get shot, but you have been consuming sedatives like sleeping pills, which reduces your heart rate, your heart and your breathing, this basically stopped him from maybe bleeding to death.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise, you know, see, when you get shot, you bleed to death usually, so you lose all that blood. But because of that reduced heart rate, that actually didn't happen. So he didn't lose that much blood. But also, I mean, he was so lucky that the bullet didn't actually hit any vital parts in the brain. I think it must have probably just gone directly between the hemispheres. Just go in. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So he survived.
And it also not get through. That was the important.
That's the other thing. It didn't actually go through. It's actually until today still lodged in his head.
Yeah.
So this is number 5. So he has a terrible headache. What does his wife decide? Clever wife. What does she decide?
And then she quickly made a soup for him.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's a lovely wife.
She
actually.
was she was telling him, I think you need a very nice rest.
Exactly.
And then she was offering making soup.
Yeah. Okay.
With again a lot of sleeping pills.
I love it. Okay, so she gives him another offering of food. This time it's soup with even more sleeping pills. I suppose she's thinking this will then eventually really finish him off. Okay, so we give him some more. You know, has this guy not vomited? I mean, what is this guy? It's just crazy. I mean,
I really think that the sleeping pills are really weak.
Yeah, I have
I have
idea.
no idea as
So
well.
this is attempt number 6. Okay, so he's at
I'm
home.
so tired
He's
already.
he's completely out, flat out, but he's still alive. So what's her final attempt to just finish off Tony Toto?
And then they thought they cannot kill him.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, after 6 attempts, I'm glad you reached that conclusion.
So they were asking for contract killer.
Yeah, you see maybe that's what they should have done in the beginning. Get some professional people and contract killers. So they get two, not just
Two
one.
guys.
Just to be absolutely safe, they get 2 guys. And what are these guys supposed to do?
They just shoot
Okay.
Tony's heart.
Okay.
Shoot
Okay.
through.
So these guys come around to the place. I'm not quite sure how they actually knew about these contract killers, but anyway, that's not important for the story. So these guys come around, get into the house, go upstairs, and shoot him in the chest.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as you might have imagined, that also didn't work. This was attempt number 7, and they stopped. I think they would have probably continued if something hadn't happened. And what did happen is these 2 guys, well, they weren't actually professional hitmen at all, because these 2 guys, they were wannabe assassins. They went into the pub and they just bragged about it. You know, they just showed off saying, "Hey, we're so tough. Hey, what we've just done." I mean, how stupid. But anyway, the barkeeper of that particular establishment calls the police. The police is informed. The police goes to the house. They find Tony in the bed. He is, by the way, still alive. So he has also survived the bullet in the chest. Probably for the same reason that he survived the bullet in the head, because he had these sleeping pills. So
Another top up.
yeah, absolutely. But he survived all this. So 7 attempts. The police know what happened. I guess the wife told them, but you know they asked all these people involved. So this is really how it stopped. You know, I think otherwise the wife and what was his name again?
Bruno.
And Bruno, they would have continued. You know, but that basically stopped them.
Oh,
Okay.
they're going complete nuts.
No, how can you go nuttier than this already? It's just so
7 times.
I know. Now, anyway, the wife gets arrested. Okay, and the weird. Okay, do you think that was already weird? No, it gets weirder. Now, Tony feels completely sorry. He's like, "Oh my God, my poor wife was arrested. You know, that's terrible. You know." He calls her in prison. I mean, he's still in the hospital. He calls her. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. What happened to you?" But he knows now that she tried to kill him like at least 7 times. Okay? But he kind of is so understanding. He knows the reason why she did it, because he's been a ladies' man. He's been cheating for years. And he basically bails her out of police custody. I think he spent about $50,000, gets her a top lawyer, and she only goes to prison for about 4 years. And he calls her every day. He visits her after his terrible injuries. Well, actually, he didn't have his terrible injuries. But she gets 4 years in prison, and the other guys who were involved, Bruno and these 2 super assassins, they get punished as well. I'm not quite sure how long they stayed in prison, and that isn't quite the end of the story. It gets a little bit weirder. Well, at the end of these 4 years, you would have thinking, okay, this is it. Now, you know, you should maybe get a divorce or whatever. No, but actually, Tony had this great idea. You know what? Let's just, you know, leave the past behind. Let's forget about all that. Come back and we just live forever, ever happily after. And it's like, and this is there was a documentary, a couple of years ago actually, and they showed the guys, and he showed the places where his wife tried to.
21 years later.
No, absolutely, and but they're still happily married.
Same house.
Same house.
Even the same bed. He is still
in the same
sleeping.
bed that he was supposed to be killed at least 2 or 3 times. Absolutely. It's so. The pure forgiveness. So he said, you know, and the funny thing is, I'm really thinking, if you know, forgiving somebody, you know, for, you know, having done something outrageous during a huge fight, you know, like, you know, attacking somebody, saying, I'm, you know, she could have said, "I'm really sorry, I didn't know what I was doing," but you can't do this after 7 times. You can say, you know, I didn't know what I was doing for 7 times. It was all planned murder, really. So there you have it. This is the story of Tony Toto and his wife, who are still happily married, you know, after all these things. And like I said, please check it out. We're not making this up. This happened back in the 80s, 1983 in Pennsylvania. Oh, yeah.
What a lovely story.
What an amazing story. It is the craziest crime story I've ever heard. Now, wasn't that a special treat for your Friday, for the weekend? You've got something to tell your friends and your colleagues on Monday. I hope you have a good one. We will be back on Monday. We're not doing any shows on Saturday and Sunday. We need to have a little rest, so there won't be any chocolate and cheese until Monday. Have a good one.
Have a nice weekend.
Absolutely. And we shall see you on Monday.